Well, CC, welcome back home. Welcome back to the desert. I want to start with your teammates, former teammates who are pretty excited to have you back. When it was announced that you were coming back, look at Darnell Dockett right here. We're definitely pulling up. Frosty Rucker, without a doubt. What does it kind of mean to bridge some gaps here with the Cardinals and bring everything together?
It's awesome, and Dockett, I mean, we had so many good memories here, man. We used to dominate, man. We used to take turns, like just meeting at the quarterback, and so disruptive. A lot of good memories. A couple of guys have joked about, suiting back up with me. Like, come on, man. Hey, we can do it together. Why not?
Pull some strings.
Dockett probably could still play if he wanted to. Dockett was crazy athletic and crazy talented. But, yeah, it's surreal.
What were some of the memories, Clay, coming back in this building, walking through a locker room you spent a lot of time in, and same hallways? I mean, not much has changed, right?
Yeah, no, a little bit. No, I mean, since the last time I was here, a lot of the change happened when I was here. But, I mean, it's been incredible. Talking with some of the guys in the training room, some of the equipment managers, being in the locker room, even just everywhere, But I was just thinking earlier about how when I first got drafted and I was here my rookie year, and it's probably halfway through the season, forgot something in the locker room. It's 10 o'clock at night. I went and ran in and he came and grabbed it, and I'm just walking through and I hear some music playing. I look in there and Kurt Warner's in there studying, and I'm like, man, this is before you can study at home. Sure. Times have changed a whole lot.
Changed a little bit, yeah. How excited are you to be back in this valley, and what can you still bring to this team?
I'm very excited to be back in the Valley. This fan base here has been incredible. I've gotten so much love. I mean, this is just, you can't feel more love than I feel here, and it's been incredible. And I want to bring, some leadership, some confidence, and just, some domination, I can still shut down the edge. Nobody sets the edge better than I do in the NFL. And I can still rush the passer, especially in the interior. And I plan to make some plays, of course. But then the leadership is just helping the young guys realize their potential and trying to make sure that we, as a whole, are the best version of ourselves and help some of the young guys develop. But really, it's just hope to bring some wins, baby.
You mentioned you wouldn't have come here if you didn't think this team could contend for a title, and you've been there. You've been there with Wiz and the Super Bowl, and BA. You got close in the NFC title game. What do you see from JG and this regime that gives you that confidence that this team can win?
First and foremost, guys that love ball. Guys that love ball and have great football minds, and then guys who are willing to put the work in. And there's a lot of talent on this team for them to be able to maneuver and figure out the best way to use guys, and just have a lot of depth. A lot of places. And hopefully go through the draft process and because you have more playmakers that can help us day one. But at the end of the day, it's just the talent on this team and the way the coaching staff seems to be. For this can be a team that surprises some people.
What were your first impressions of JG? What was it like to meet him and sit down and talk ball with him?
Yeah, he's
energy is something else, right?
Yeah, he's impressive. He's very impressive. I've been a fan. I'm a football fan. I follow everything. I mean, I remember when he got hired, from the Eagles, and I remember talking to some other guys who played for him and loved him. And that matters, right? All those little conversations, they're small. It's not like it's a big conversation, but it's just what'd you think about and who knew that it was a matter? We're talking about it, 3-4 years ago, sure. And then fast forward, it's I remember Fletcher Cox was saying this, or Brandon Graham said this, and it's just that matters, and then hopping on the phone with him and talking to him and kind of getting a feel for who he is, and then I meet him in person, and it's okay, I get it.
That's the coach I want to play for, right?
Yeah, that's the coach I want to play for sure. Players coach.
All right, real quick, I've talked to so many fans, and it seems like everybody has a Calais Campbell story. They took a picture with you when they were this big, and all of a sudden they're going to college, and they got kids and families. Have you felt that love over the years from Cardinal fans? Do you have a message for them?
Yeah, I say, to the Cardinal fans out there, man, thank you for welcoming me back. Thank you for making me feel loved. This is a special place. I feel that family bond, the Red Sea was making it rocking this year, man. Let's make sure that when people come and they come in, or any opponent comes to our stadium, they feel it. They know that this place is rocking, and it's going to be a battle, a bloodbath, and we coming for blood.
In the nicest way, right?
In the nicest way possible.
Get you out of this. You already had your first sack. Josh Weinfest, I hope you're okay in the media room there. But can you give us a baseball bat swing? Can you give us everybody that signature celebration? Is that still your thing?
I'm not going to do that anymore.
No,
yeah, I'm not going to do it anymore. I only want to do it until I got 100 sacks.
Okay.
And so I got my 100 sacks. I had to retire,
So now what do you do?
Now I'm gonna do a little step back jumper, the balling, But yeah, it's crazy. Everything comes to an end eventually. So, but I didn't want to stop playing football. But when I got my 100 sack, because I did the baseball swing as a homage to Neil Smith, who's one of my favorite players growing up. And that's what he did when he was young, and I thought it was so cool. But I told myself when I got to 100 sacks, if I got to 100 sacks, that I would be done with it. And that was probably like 40 sacks. So happened to get there, and I was like, all right, that's it, that's the last one. And so now I have to switch it up.
One more thing, what's the secret? 30, almost 39. What's the one thing that keeps you going on the D line?
Yeah, I don't know if it's really a secret, but I mean,
Brussels sprout, a vegetable, something, man, a good meal.
I think if you do it with love, you do it well, And so, like, I think I come in every day with the perspective, like, that I'm blessed to be here. When I was young, it wasn't like this. I used to just dread coming in, going through the process because you didn't have the perspective. Sure. But once I got close to the end, which was a long time ago, I guess I wasn't that close to the end. But when I started thinking I was close to the end, I started realizing now, like, this is a special place. This is a get-to job. And there's a lot of people who wish they could be where I am. And when I came to the building, I came through with so much gratitude and so much love that I get to be one of the guys that be in this building, and that meant something to me. And so I think that allows for me to, come through and really be at my best and really just enjoy being here. And that kind of love you feel when you're here makes you not want to leave, makes you want to stay. But eventually I got to go home, but not yet.
But you are home. Calais Campbell, welcome back.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.